Okay, so we hear the phrase AI is learning thrown around all the time, right? But what does that actually mean? Like, how does a machine learn? Well, it's probably not what you think, and it boils down to two main ways of doing things. One is kind of like having a teacher guide you, and the other? That's like being an explorer, discovering things all on your own. Let's dive in.
Right, so when we talk about AI learning, it's not like it's cramming for a test or memorizing textbooks. Nope, it's all about one simple, powerful idea, finding patterns in data. And how it finds those patterns? Well, that's where things get really interesting, because there are two totally different approaches.
And those two methods are called supervised and unsupervised learning. Now, I know the names sounded a little bit technical, a little jargony, but I promise the ideas behind them are super simple. Just keep this in your head. It's basically the difference between learning with the teacher and learning by exploring. First up, let's head to the classroom.
All right, Section 1, Learning with the Teacher. This is where we get into supervised learning. And honestly, the name kind of gives it away, right? This is all about learning with a guide, with someone or something showing you the ropes. It's actually the most common type of machine learning you run into every single day.
So picture this. You're studying for a huge exam, but you've been given a cheat sheet with all the answers. That's pretty much supervised learning in a nutshell. We give the AI a massive amount of data, but here's the key. Every single piece of that data is already labeled with the correct answer. The teacher here isn't a person. It's the data itself, pointing out, hey, this is what you're supposed to be looking for.
Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Well, it's a three-step dance. First, the input. We feed the machine, say, thousands and thousands of pictures that are all neatly labeled cat or dog. Step 2 is training. This is where the model just churns through all those examples, trying to find the patterns. You know, what makes a cat look like a cat and not a dog? Whiskers, pointy ears, that kind of thing. And finally, the prediction. We give it a brand new picture, one it's never seen before, with no label, and we ask, all right, what is this? Its answer is a prediction based on everything it just learned.
And trust me, you see this in action absolutely everywhere. Think about your email inbox. How does it know it's spam? Easy. It's been trained on millions of emails that humans have already labeled spam or not spam. Or what about when you see a price prediction for a house online? That's a model trained on past sales data. Or even just facial recognition in your photo gallery. It's all the same idea, predicting something new based on a ton of old labeled examples.
Okay, so that's what happens when you have a teacher. But what if you don't? What happens when there's no answer key, no labels, and the AI is just thrown into the deep end and told to, well, figure it out? That, my friends, brings us to our second type, unsupervised learning.
Now, with unsupervised learning, we're still giving the machine a ton of data, but with one massive change. None of it is labeled, not a single piece. There is no answer key. So the AI's job totally changes. It's not about predicting a specific thing anymore. Instead, its job is to just explore, to sift through all that messy, unlabeled data and see if it can find any hidden patterns or interesting groups all by itself.
The main way it does this is through something called clustering. Just think of it like sorting. Let's say a big online store dumps all its customer purchase history into one of these models. Without any help, the AI might start forming its own groups or clusters. It might say, okay, this bunch of people over here, they all buy electronics. And this group, they seem to buy home goods, but only on weekends. And this third group, they're the bargain hunters who only shop when there's a sale. It finds these customer segments completely on its own.
And this is a real game changer for businesses. They use it for that exact thing, customer segmentation. It's also used for market analysis, to figure out which products people tend to buy together. And here's a cool one. Banks use it for anomaly detection. It can look at millions of credit card transactions and spot one that just looks weird. It doesn't fit any normal pattern. It's amazing at finding the odd one out.
So there you have it, the teacher and the explorer. Let's put them side by side now, just to make sure the big difference between them really clicks.
All right, here's the bottom line. The whole point of supervised learning is to make predictions. We give it labeled data to teach it a specific task. Unsupervised learning, on the other hand, is all about discovery. We give it unlabeled data and just ask, hey, find anything interesting in here. So you've got prediction versus discovery. That's the core distinction.
Look, if you only remember one thing from all this, let it be this quote. Supervised learning is like working with the answers. Unsupervised learning is all about discovering the answers. Simple as that.
So you might be thinking, okay, are these two things competing? Is one better than the other? And the answer is, not at all.
Actually, they're more like two different paths that are both heading to the exact same destination.
And this is where it all comes together so beautifully. One method, supervised, learns from what we already know. It helps us get really good at tasks we can already define. The other, unsupervised, is the explorer. It dives into what we don't know, helping us find brand new insights we wouldn't have even thought to look for.
And when you put them both together, well, that's when you get truly powerful AI. You're combining the ability to learn from examples with the freedom to just explore. And what you end up with are machines that can go beyond just following our instructions. They can start to find meaning in data all on their own. And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending idea to chew on. If machines can learn from both what we teach them and from what they discover on their own, what does that mean for the future? The really big question isn't just about what AI will be able to do for us, but what completely new questions it's going to help us ask, and maybe even